Gordon? Awesome. Okay. Well, it's incredible to see everyone's bright, shiny faces. And you ladies come from all corners of my world and Jen's world. And I just, to me, my women's community is a big weaving of just really amazing people that I just scoop up along the way. So our Wine and Wellness tonight is sponsored by the Healthy Living Revolution. And I'm excited to introduce Jen as my guest speaker tonight. Because she has an amazing story. And we know the holidays are coming, and Jen came up with this brilliant idea to do a series about healthy holiday hacks, because I heard once a statistic that the average American gains 7 pounds from now until the first of the year. And we don't have to do that because we know better. And we just wanted to share some tips, some recipes, recipe books that come from our healthy living community. So we're really excited. So we want you to come through into 2020 feeling and looking great instead of feeling bloated and unhealthy and all those things that we generally feel. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my story. I turned 50 a few years ago, and I decided to up-level my health by starting to do sprint triathlons. So I was thinking that I was in better shape, I was stronger, more fit than I'd ever been, and I was in some ways, but at the same time, I was getting sicker and sicker. I was sick every 4 to 6 weeks, sick after every race, and I was going to doctors thinking that I had something bad like fibromyalgia or some kind of autoimmune disease, but they couldn't find anything. And so it was just really frustrating. I have always been a proponent of what Hippocrates said over 1,000 years ago: let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. I've eaten organic my whole adult life. I thought I was doing really well. And yet what I learned is that average people just living normal lives need 9 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies a day, and athletes, which I was at the time, 15 to 20 servings of fruits and veggies. Yikes, there's no way I could have gotten that. So I was lucky enough to be working with a physical therapist friend of mine who knew about whole food nutrition in a capsule, and it pretty much changed my entire health picture. So I was also coming up on about 30 years of being an occupational therapist, working in the sick care profession, and I just was watching people over the years become sicker and sicker and younger, and ethically, I just felt like we are dumping trillions of dollars every year into sick care, and we don't spend enough on prevention. So it really took me down this track 3 years ago of deciding to lock arms with this amazing company. We're part of a community called the Healthy Living Revolution, which represents Juice Plus and Tower Garden. And I am now so passionate about helping others make changes in their health that will prevent them from the devastation that I was seeing every day in my work, and that I was also seeing beloved family members undergo. So our company's mission is to inspire healthy living around the world, and we are going to do this tonight. So first of all, I would just love to just really briefly, to keep things moving, I would love to know from the group what inspired you to come on tonight. What are your favorite maybe share one little tip that you like to do at the holiday season, and then what's important to you in terms of your health. So, if you could just keep it to maybe a minute. If no one's jumping in, I can call on people. Hi, Sister Ashley.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to unmute everyone.
Share what your healthy holiday hacks are, Ashley, in about a minute? Or what you're hoping to get out of getting through the holidays in a healthy way?
I've actually been planning shred time before Thanksgiving. I've actually started to write out what we're going to eat for 10 days. So this is a new one. Wow. Planning meals. So I'm I have about 5 I know I can do, and then there are about 5 more I need to dig a little bit more. And this has just been a long-term goal to get back into my kitchen and
Cool. So actually menu planning. That sounds awesome. How
Exactly.
about you, Annette? What's
Goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, we tend to eat pretty well most of the time, except when we go out. And so eating out is a challenge for us. All the time, not just during the holidays, but all the time.
Okay. So eating out tips. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Janie?
I am looking for, I've been sick for a month and a half. I'm kind of tired of it. So that's one thing, and I want to reset. So that's kind of
Nice.
my goal, is to reset and to get back on the health wagon.
Awesome. Great. How about you, Deb?
My goal, I'm actually in the middle of a whole bunch of people and we're all drinking wine. So that's probably the thing I shouldn't do, because then you eat more of the other
That's
stuff.
okay. Well, we are at a wine and wellness, for crying out loud.
That's
So
what I told them. They should jump on with me.
I've got some. I have some great ideas for mocktails and whatnot. So how about you, Katie? You probably didn't hear the question, so we'll let you off the hook.
Okay. What happened?
Well, we're just sharing what we're hoping to learn to get us through the holidays. Anything specific that tends to be
Willpower.
challenging? Willpower. Okay. We got some ideas
Saying no
for
to
that.
sweets is always hard.
Yeah. How about you, Michelle? That's okay. She's muted. Michelle's still in. I don't know who the 841 number is. Who are you? Can you introduce yourself? Okay, well that's all right. We're not gonna put anybody on the spot, because I really want Jen to be able to jump in and share her story. She has an amazing story, and Jen is just, for those of you who don't know her, I think many of you on this call do, but she calls herself a wellness warrior with our group called the Healthy Living Revolution. Her mission is to impact women by helping them to ignite their inner warrior. Holy moly. So they can wake up every day feeling true to their radiant, authentic self. So incredible. She's married to her husband, Flo, and she is one of the brightest, most spirited women I know. She's been an incredible mentor, support, and buddy to me, and I'm so grateful for you in my life, Jen. So take it away, and then we want to leave plenty of time at the end for sharing recipes and other ideas. So go for it, Jen.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys a few slides. And as I get this set up, I want you to be thinking about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how you would rate your health. And if that number is not where you want it to be, I'd be curious for you to think about what do you think it's going to take to move that? So say if I rate myself a 6, what do you think it would take to get my health to a 9 or a 10? Okay, so I want you to be thinking about that. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Can you all see this? Can you give me a thumbs up? Awesome. Okay, so these statistics to me are so startling, and I love this quote. I think it just paints such a clear picture that our children are more harmed by our poor diets than exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. And that statistic just really blew my mind, in thinking about how important it is for our diet and our lifestyle to be at the top concern. And some of the things that affect that, right, are going to be environmental toxins. So the lotions, the deodorants, our medications, the toxins, the chemicals, pesticides that are on our food. And then also how our food quality has started to decrease. 80% of foods at the grocery store today didn't exist 100 years ago. That's kind of crazy to think about, just how things are so much more in boxes than in fresh produce. But even the fresh produce has lost up to 50 to 80% of its nutritional value because of the way that it's picked when it's green, ripens on the way to the grocery store, and has to look perfect for us to want to buy it. So it really gets us thinking, okay, if all this is happening around us, what's going on? What do we need to do about it? I really love this picture. And of the apple. And if you've ever cut an apple open, it starts to brown. And if you leave it open, it starts to oxidize. And that is happening to all of the cells in our bodies. And one thing that we can do to slow down that process, which is also the aging process, is antioxidants. So if you've ever put lemon juice on an apple, it's same thing. It helps to slow down that process because it's an antioxidant. And I just want to put a plug in for anyone who feels like when they get older that they have to feel frumpy and decrepit is not true. I actually met a gentleman who I thought was 30 years old, and he was 60 because he was flooding his body with antioxidants in a concentrated form for over 25 years. And I was so shocked. And so I just want you to know that just because everyone else believes that that is their story, it doesn't have to be your story, because there's research to prove there's another way. Okay, we talked about the issue. Let's talk about how we can improve this, because clearly we want to do something about it. You're here to learn how to hack your health, right? So these are the top 6 areas that I really feel, and research has also proven, really pack the biggest punch for your health. So moving your body, and not moving your body because you want to punish yourself or you feel like you have to, but moving your body because you can. There's so many people who don't even have the ability to walk, who are stuck in a wheelchair, who cannot move their body. And so it's really a blessing to be able to move your body, even if that's just getting up from the couch to bend over. There's so many people who can't even do that. So think about that, and, drinking water, even if that's just not necessarily replacing something, but just adding extra water to your daily routine. I have a client that I worked with who had really bad migraines 3 to 4 times a month. And just by increasing their water, their migraines went down to 1 a month. So water is the number 1 prescription. Sleeping, your body does so much restorative work when you sleep. And we talked about the environmental changes. If you are using dryer sheets, that's the number 1 toxic item in a household. So I highly recommend switching to dryer balls. That can be one positive change you can make. And then stress management is really a huge one that I feel like we often overlook. And then eating real food, eating more plants is super important. So let's talk about that a little bit more. I love this quote: 75% of diseases are preventable with good nutrition. That should give us all hope that we can do something about how we're feeling. Again, what you gave yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, if it wasn't a 10, then good nutrition is going to be one of the easiest ways you can start to make those simple changes. And I talked about this a little bit. We need 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables the size of our fist every day. And as Kirsten talked about, it's more if you're an athlete, or if you're considered chronically ill, it's over 20. And let's just be honest, that's just not going to happen on a day-to-day basis. And even if the produce that we are getting from the grocery store, it's picked early and has lost nutrients. And so we need a better way. And like Kirsten said, the community that we've partnered with has found a way to encapsulate the produce, which is really our favorite health hack. And we believe that it does a little bit of a better job than a multivitamin, because multivitamins have actually proven to do more harm than good. We pee out a lot of those multivitamins. And actually, why do we take a multivitamin in the first place? It's because we're not getting enough nutrients from our food. So if we could get nutrients from a whole food source, to me, that makes perfect sense. I'd way rather get the missing nutrients in my diet from a whole food source anyway, than something that was made in a lab that my body can't process. So that's just something to think about. And now, like Kirsten said, we want to share some recipes with you, as well as just tips that we've learned to be able to navigate the holiday season. We, as a community, if you are local, monthly, we do a salad in a jar party where everyone brings an ingredient and we make salads for the week to really help us choose those healthier choices. And we're kind of proactive in that. It's really fun to do that in a community, as well as we're going to send you some cookbooks with amazing, healthy, delicious recipes. And if you have kids in your life or your grandparent and want some positive help in building positive body image and just keeping your kids strong and healthy, we also have resources for that as well. So I'm going to kick it over to Kirsten for her to share her awesome recipes for mocktails.
Perfect. So one of the things, and I hear you, Annette, going out is the biggest challenge. And for me, the alcohol over the holidays, the absolute inundation everywhere you go, there's special wine and cocktails and all this stuff. So even though this is Wine and Wellness, and you all know how much I love my wine, I have actually greatly reduced my alcohol consumption this last year, which is an awesome thing for my family and me. And I have my little apothecary set up here to show you some of my hacks. First of all, if you go to any high-end restaurant in Portland especially, and you tell them you just want them to make you the most fancy, beautiful mocktail, you will get the most delicious stuff, I'm telling you. Mixologists really don't care if they're using alcohol or not. So I've gotten some really great ideas like mimosas without alcohol and all that. But, just if you want that sense of still having like something bubbly in your hand and being festive, what I've really found is dilution. Okay, so these fizzy waters have become my best friends because you can still, and you can even accentuate the cheap bottles of wine that get brought to your house that maybe you would never drink. You can actually turn those into little fizzies, and they're pretty delicious. The other thing that I have really gotten into, because I'm in kind of a hidden, like I have an inner herbalist in me that just loves the kind of apothecary and herbal things. So something I love to do in my drinks, especially if they're non-alcoholic, is just to make them really special. So I just went and picked some rose petals. I have some lavender in here, and you would be amazed at just how rose and lavender in some sparkling water is just so delicious, and it still feels festive and really fun. So you don't feel any deprivation really, and you're getting that yummy, bubbly thing. The other thing that has really, really turned things around for my husband and me, and my husband can't drink at all anymore because of some health issues. He wasn't a heavy drinker, but he did like a beer on the weekends. He can't do that anymore. So he has found that this Brew Doctor kombucha with ginger and turmeric, which is really, really good antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, that with a little apple juice and some fizzy water just totally takes the place of a beer for him. He says he doesn't even miss it. For me, I like something a little fancier, so I love Brew Doctor Love. This is my favorite one because it already has a little bit of the rose and lavender in it, and this with just a little bit of seltzer water is just absolutely delicious. So the other thing I've been rediscovering, I'm back from my herbal days, is bitters. I don't know if you guys know about bitters or not, but bitters used to be used as digestive tonics. And so, you know how a lot of us are ending up, we're overindulging, we're maybe eating richer food around the holidays than we normally would, and we end up with a lot of heartburn. Well, bitters, amazingly, I don't know what the herbs exactly are in there. I'm sure an herbalist or natural medicine person could tell you, but they're incredibly therapeutic for your gut. And I've been really, really getting into just floating a little bit of bitters on top of my mocktails these days. This one is a very gorgeous spiced cherry bitters from Woodford Reserve, which is a whiskey company. So even our distilleries in the South are getting onto the fact that people aren't drinking as much. So you just put a little of your bitters in your wine glass, and I always, if I'm trying to still feel festive and not drink, I always have it in a wine or a special little cocktail glass. And the other thing I discovered, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jen for some food recipes. Citrus is fabulous. It gives us that kind of little bite and that pungent taste, that wine and other drinks sometimes do, and sometimes just a splash of citrus in your drinks will take care of that craving for you. I did order these online. I don't know if you guys have any of been getting the advertisements from Seedlip on Facebook. I did go ahead and order them. They're very expensive. They come from England, and I thought, I'm just going to be indulgent. They are as expensive as alcohol. I've been using them. I can't say that I'm a huge fan because they kind of just taste like water to me. But anyway, I mean, it is another idea for just, being able to be healthy. And as Jen said, staying hydrated. I think that's part of the really sick feeling I get around the holidays is that if I'm drinking too much alcohol and not hydrating, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. So anyway, I hope that helps and inspires. And I'm going to, like Jen said, we'll have these recipes or some recipes available for you. And I would say with mocktails, though, is just use your creativity. Just pull out some things that you love the taste of and start mixing and having fun with them. So
Yeah. Okay, so a couple different things. One, we'll be posting, we have a ton of recipes that we would love to support you with. So we have them all in a Facebook group that's easy access. So if you want, we can plug you into that and you'll have access to all those. There's tons of different mocktail recipes kind of for the season, as well as just like yummy treats that are guilt-free. So anyone dessert or sweet tooth people. And then separate to that, we have like a full-on cookbook with food recipes. So I'll show you just a couple of those really briefly. Let's see, I have, my friend made this healthy hack guide for the holidays. Can you guys see this? Yes. Okay. So there's a couple breakfast options, lunch, dinner, desserts, and drinks. So we actually use the cocktail in here. So planned pancakes. So making pancakes out of a protein powder, eggs and bananas and oats. It's really good. My husband craves these all the time. Some fun raspberry, we call them energy balls. So that's like a good dessert. This is my favorite thing, you guys. I even have this when it's not like Thanksgiving. I loved mashed potatoes, but I honestly love this more. It's mashed cauliflower. So you basically just steam it. I roast some garlic. I throw it in there. It's the easiest. I throw it in my blender and blend it up. It takes no time at all. And I've honestly eaten like an entire head of cauliflower in this form because it's so good. So if you have not tried that yet, it is a crowd pleaser. I promise you. Some stuffing recipes. Our community has found that gluten and dairy can be really inflammatory to the body and make you feel that really heavy feeling, make you feel really full, and can just cause some disruptions in your overall digestive system. So we recommend cutting down on that as much as you possibly can without missing it. Like I guarantee you, these recipes, you won't be missing it. There's some caramelized sweet potato and apple hash, and some peppermint bark, also some pumpkin spice cookie dough bites, and then some chocolate pecan clusters and cranberry kombucha mocktail. So that's one there. We also have this other one. We have a whole recipe just on desserts as well that you have access to. And then really quickly, I wanted to just share, if you wanted to have like a really nice Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or even any holiday at all, I'm going to show you my favorite cookbook. Her name is Danielle Walker, and she's created a cookbook that is paleo, but goes through all of the holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and she's created an entire menu and has just really beautiful pictures. So I get lots of ideas from there, but honestly, in our next event that we're going to do, I'd be happy to come up with recipes or like menu items and just honestly just teach you, okay, I'm going to this restaurant. I want to stay healthy. How can I look at a menu at a restaurant I've never been to and figure out how to do that? Like I would love to that I would say is just a skill set that I've developed over the years and would love to teach you guys that. So we'll be having another one of these webinars to teach those kinds of things for you. And if there's any other categories you'd like us to cover, we'd be happy to do that. Again, we just want to inspire you and equip you to live healthy in your day-to-day life and not feel like you're missing out on anything. Kirsten, did you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, well, I just think that one thing for me about eating out is that, a lot of us on this call have done what we call the Shred 10. And, there's so many posts that in our community of, hey, I found a shred friendly recipe here. But, especially in the Portland area, I just think it's fairly easy to find a beautiful kale salad or, things that really are fairly healthy. And, going to pubs, of course, or you're going to find a different situation there. But the other thing I try to do when I go out is to have an apple before I go. I mean, just so I'm not as hungry. I mean, I really will just eat a piece of really healthy fruit before I go out to dinner, just to, so that maybe I can just get a side salad instead of a big entree salad. Um, so anyway, yeah, so I'm really excited. And as Jen said, we can add you to Live Healthy, Be Happy. That's a Facebook page that we are going to post all these recipes and the books on. We can also send them to you directly. If you don't want to be on another Facebook page, it's totally fine. So just reach out to whoever invited you. But we hope that we've inspired some simple ideas. One saying in our community is one simple change. And so maybe you'll be inspired to just drink a little more water this holiday season, or do more regular exercise, or look more carefully at those menus before you go. And we applaud you for that. If everybody in America did that, a lot of our health problems would go away. If you're interested in taking your health to the next level and want to learn more about our whole food plant powders and Tower Garden, we have virtual events every Tuesday and Saturday. We can hook you in with those. Phone calls with people in our community are also an option, and you can tell we're passionate about sharing that as well. If anyone on this call is inspired to go spread the word like we have, we're on a mission and we can't do it alone. I decided to do this business, as I explained earlier, as an alternative to sick care. And it's just become so much more. It's become an amazing community of beautiful women and men. But it's the majority of us are women. And, we say we have health, wealth, community, and self. And if you're interested in learning more about that, we're happy to share it too. So we so appreciate your time. We actually, Jen, I'm so proud of us. We're like sliding in with 1 minute to spare. So if anybody has any last comments or questions, we're happy to answer them. And if not, we'll just let you get on with your evening.